It's raining today and my kids are sick, so I thought it would be a good time to show you all of the different type of baby carriers I've used. Okay, so I have used several different baby carriers, 5 to be exact, and I'm gonna be showing you 4 of them today, and I'll cover the other one. I just ended up selling it because it was 2 structured carriers is that category. So I will cover it and give you a review on why I didn't keep it, because I think that's important and helpful, probably for you as you're trying to figure out this thing called baby wearing, which is so cool and so appealing, but also really confusing and a little overwhelming because there's a lot of carriers out there. So the 4 types of, the main types of carriers there are is wraps, which is usually like some piece of fabric that is wrapped around you. Then there are slings, which usually, I think the most common is ring sling, right? So it has 2 rings here and it goes across your body. And then there are structured carriers, and maybe it's just the 3. Then there's structured carriers, which are a lot more common. So I have 1 structured carrier I'll show you today, 1 wrap, 1 sling, and then one I would kind of say is like a hybrid. It's like a mix between a wrap and a structured carrier, and that's why I said 4 categories. The first carrier I want to show you is the one that is very popular on the internet. You'll see it, but it also has the biggest learning curve, and that is the Solly Baby wrap. There are other wraps out there, some that have a little bit less of a learning curve. Those kind of do border on like more of that mid category, right? So they maybe are a little bit more structured but still have the wrap. So this Solly Baby wrap I adored with my second, but I think it's because it's like learning how to tie a shoe. It's very intimidating, and especially as a new mom, it was so hard. And I had a baby during COVID, so like we weren't really going anywhere. So like when she got sick or things, I'd wear her, and that's part of the reason of why I decided to make this video today, because I have 2 sick kids, and my youngest is loving being worn. And so I thought it'd be a good time to kind of jump in, but to all the different carriers we have. But the Solly wrap, the beautiful thing about the Solly wrap specifically, because that's the one I have experience with, is it has this little pocket here, and you can store it in there. So this fits super easily in your diaper bag. And yeah, it's soft, it's so nice. So let me give you a few of the stats on the Solly baby carrier. So the Solly retails at $69. It's a tensile modal, which is so soft. It's literally like wearing a t-shirt, which is so nice. You can machine wash, and they actually recommend drying, which is interesting. All of the other carriers I'll show you, you'll need to line dry. It's front facing only. So what that means is your baby, you really can only wear your baby in one position, and that's facing towards you. Some of the other carriers I'll show you have the option to be worn on the back or outward facing, but this one only has the option to be worn facing you. It's challenging in the beginning to get the like tightness right, so your baby sits on you in the right position. But once you get it, it's wonderful. Like, this is the carrier I use for the first 6 months of my kid's life, hands down. And I will use this for my future children. I think the reason I didn't use it so much with my first is because, one, she didn't love being worn. And I think that had a lot to do with COVID, to be honest with you. She also is just a more independent child. She'd like it when she was sick or tired, but it just wasn't her favorite. My second, like, we went to church. She'd sleep in this all during church. It was just so easy, and I love to put it on before I leave the house because that's the biggest con. So the cons of this is it has a big learning curve than some of the other ones, so why you have to be committed to learn it. And then 2, because it's so long, it takes a while to put on and it drags on the floor. So that is why I love to do it before I leave the house. So what I will do is I'll show you, and then it's kind of hard to get tight. So those are the main ones. I will also say I don't love this carrier. I have been putting my baby in it, and she's 13 months. I haven't loved this carrier as much during the older ages, but I love it in the younger ages because there's this, and I'll show you, you can like tuck your baby's head in, and like it's dark and there's not anything stimulating, and it's a really great place when you have to go out. So for example, we were very much living life with my second. And so from my husband's birthday party to going to different events, I could put her in that. And even though there was a ton of things and stimulation going on around her, if I just kind of tucked her in and pulled the little like flap over, she couldn't see anything and she'd sleep incredibly well. Like it was amazing. So that's something to know. So I will show you real quickly how to tie it. I think this carrier, because this is important to know, okay, it can be used from 8 to 25 pounds. So definitely not the heaviest, the highest weight range compared to others. So you kind of cross it around your back here. So like that. And I'm doing it with the jean jacket, which is probably not the best. I should say you should find the little tag. So that's like your cheat sheet, but you can't see it here, but it is like dragging on the ground. And then you push it around your front, pull it over, and you want to make sure that they're not like twisted, because if they're twisted, it will hurt your back, which is one of the things I struggled with my first, which is partly why I hated it so much. And then you're just gonna cross it in the front. And the way I love to look at it is like, basically you should be able to support your baby with just these two parts. So then you, and I'll step back here for a minute so I can show you, jean jackets are not the best baby wearing. So then you take it around the back and tie it, and then I just kind of would tie it in a knot right here. So as you can see here, and if I kind of pull it up here, you can wear this in the car as you're driving. I mean, it's not like the most beautiful thing in the whole wide world, but it's really easy. And then when you're running in and out of errands, like let's say for example, you decide not to go with an infant car seat and decide to have a convertible, this is really nice because you're gonna have to take your baby out of the car seat every single time you go somewhere. And so you can kind of put them in. Now, I do not have a baby. I can get my daughter's doll. Hold on. Does anyone else have a toddler who their babies are never clothed? If you know when that stage stops, please comment below, because I thought for sure it would stop by now, and we are almost 3 and we still don't like our babies to wear clothes. So how you put your baby in is you'll want to take the innermost flap, I guess, or the cross, and put your leg, you kind of put your baby here, and especially when they're newborn, you're kind of like cradling their head, you bounce a little bit, and then you kind of spread it wide on their bum, and you want to do those froggy legs. And then I kind of just would probably tuck her head in here and then do the other side. And so again, this is my check personally, is like, all right, so she's crossed, her legs are in a good position. You can kind of see there. And then you just kind of, on the newborn stage, this is what I love, is you can kind of tuck their legs in and keep their legs tucked in. So it's like a blanket. And obviously I was doing this for a real baby, not a doll, so it's a little loose here, but this is what I talk about, where like it's kind of hard to get that perfect tightness. But then you can either have your baby like this behind their neck, and they have a whole list of things to make sure your baby's safe and breathing, so look that up on the Solly website. But you can also tuck their head in here, and then I would, just to get them, I would kind of hold so they still could breathe. But that's what I talk about with like helping with the stimulation in the early days. And as your confidence grows in wearing your baby, so will your baby's happiness being worn. So if you're really nervous and anxious, your baby might feel that and be fussy in the beginning. That's why I say, like, when you're putting them in, do the bouncing and all of that. As they're older, so like right now with my 13-month-old, I'm obviously not tucking her legs in. You can kind of pull them here, but again, they're safe with that X and that. So it is an incredible carrier. I love how soft it is. I love how close my baby feels to me. I love the materials. It's so easy to wash. It's so easy to store in my diaper bag because of that little pocket thing. So it is a great carrier, but if you were to only buy one, I don't know if this is the one I'd buy. I think this is an amazing option for the first 0 to 6 months. It can be used beyond that. I mean, I'm using it with my 13-month-old, but it really is ideal for that time period, and your baby can live in it, right? They say like this is so much safer and better for your baby. So that's just something to know. They can sleep in it, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I'm gonna go on ahead and show you how to get your baby out. So what I do is I like to tuck this down and then pull, and you kind of hold your baby here, and then I put my hand behind their head, and then you see how their legs are kind of in here, so then I would kind of pull them up over my shoulder, and then you can kind of pull that off. And then you can lay your baby down. So it's really easy to get them in and out. And again, you could just leave it like this and you're good. So that's the Solly wrap. I definitely would recommend it, but like I said, probably more ideal for those early days and learning curve. You may never love it with your first. You probably will if you really are committed to it, but just something to be aware of. Okay. So the next carrier I'm going to talk about is the sling. This is the Wildbird Ring Sling, and I have it with Modal, so I'll tell you a little bit of the facts about this one. It retails at $78. However, they do sales up there, and all of these places do sales. So if you either are gonna put it on your registry, that's really easy. But if you are looking to buy a carrier, I would just watch for the sales, because almost every company does them. And if you're not in a hurry, obviously if you have a baby right now and you need a carrier, you maybe don't have that luxury, but that is something, I just don't like to pay shipping, or I really like sales. So that's kind of my goal. I will share in my Instagram accounts if they are sales. So if you wanna go follow the stroller mom, but that's just my personal preference. I mean, $78, especially if you're gonna have lots of kids. That's the thing with all of these carriers, you're gonna get your money's worth. Hopefully, if you find the right one for you. So $78, it can be used from 8 to 35 pounds. So 10 more pounds than the Solly. That's a big deal. Like, your kid's not growing crazy. I mean, they are growing like crazy, but there could be several months between that, several months to a year between 25 to 35 pounds. My toddler is still not 35 pounds. So for reference point, she's definitely more than 25 though. So also I would never put her in the Solly wrap. I probably would. People wear their toddlers in the sling. The thing that is really nice about, okay, oh yeah, one more thing. So you can machine wash it. It has to be line dried. The thing I will say about machine washing it is make sure you put like a tube sock or something on the metal rings. So it has 2 metal rings here, so that keeps it from like getting all scratched up and banging up against your washer and dryer. But then you line dry it. Something that's really cool about this is because it's basically a big piece of fabric, you can use it as a nursing cover, a blanket. It also folds. It doesn't have a pouch, but it fits in my diaper bag really well. In fact, once I get through the baby stage, around 5-6 months, I will switch from my Solly to this because it's easy to just keep in my diaper bag and grab it when I need it. You can technically face front or face towards you, or back is what they say. I have never done back. I've also not done like outward. I have done the hip and the towards me, and those have been sufficient for me to learn. So look on their website, that's what they said there. So they have 2 options. They have like a linen, a color, 3 different options, linen, color, and Modal. I wanted soft. That's like my thing. I really like soft pajamas. I like all those things. So that's what I really liked about the Wildbird. I went with the Modal one. It's a little bit less sturdy. So if you really want to wear an older or a heavier baby, you may want to look at one of the other ones. But for me, it's completely, I have smaller babies and it's been great. So to put it on, you put it over your shoulder and you have the rings here. And again, you don't want it to be twisted. If it's twisted, that's where your back pain comes from a lot of the time, which nobody wants back pain when you're wearing a carrier. Okay, so then you're gonna feed it through the rings, and you have this like little leather thing here. And then you can see the rings, you separate them and pull it in there. This one does have a little bit of a learning curve as well. I feel like not as much as the Solly. So for my second daughter, this was the main carrier I used, like the main one. Again, wearing a jean jacket and carrot baby wearing is probably not the best. I would put the carrier on first and then put your jean jacket on, but for this, we're gonna embrace it. Okay, so you can see here, what they say to do is you kind of wanna feed to make sure it's not twisted. So just kind of like take your fingers and pull that through. So you have each side on each, and then you kind of pull it through. So how it tightens, you'll see. So to loosen it, you can see this side of the sling loosens the top, and this side loosens and tightens the bottom. And so what I do is you kind of want it in like an ideal position here. So I like to wear it higher before I put my baby in, because naturally she'll sink lower. And then I kind of use this, you can see I'm tightening the bottom, my elbow, to be her butt. And so they sit in it kind of froggy. I think the biggest concern for new moms wearing this is it feels like your baby might fall out. And that's again where practice makes perfect. You don't have the cross like you do with the Solly, but your baby is still very safe. I personally do not love this carrier. For the newborn stage, moms do it and they're great at it and they love it. This is my personal experience. It's just not as like sturdy when they're so, I don't know. I've done it. I've worn my sister's kid with it when I helped her, because this was the carrier she had when I went and helped her in Kentucky. But it's definitely my favorite when they're older. So right now I wear my baby in it all the time, especially when we are cooking and it's the end of the day and she just wants to be held. So you kind of make that, and then I'll show you with the baby. Just like the other one, you kind of put them in and you bounce and you put their little legs in, and then you want to sit them. So I'm like, you want to tuck in, and as you're kind of pulling and getting it tight, so you can kind of see how it's getting tighter there. Tuck their arms in. There. And so you kind of have the little froggied legs, and they have the whole thing about it. And you want it kind of to be spread out on your back so it helps with the back pain. And then if you have a newborn, you can actually like use that as like a head support. Again, not my favorite way to carry. The thing I do like, so like when my baby's like 6 months and still will take naps, is I use this kind of to throw over my shoulder. Make sure she can still breathe, but it just helps kind of providing that low stimulation for them to be able to take a nap. Okay, so in the structured carrier category, we had the Ergo Omni 360 baby carrier. My work bought it for me, and it was so generous. It's like $180 new, or it was at the time. I think it still is. And it's the Ergobaby that your baby can face towards you, out, on your side, on your back, like it's all the things. It doesn't require an infant insert, which at that point, a lot of the Ergo carriers did. So I was super excited about that carrier. Plus it's $180, so like, it's very expensive. You can start using it from 7 pounds to 45 pounds. So again, we went from like birth to 25, birth to 35, and now this one goes all the way up to 45. So you can wear this for a long time. And especially with the older babies, being able to wear a baby on your back when they're older, like entering that toddler stage, is so wonderful. It's great. I'll show you in a minute, the other one. Let me see if there's anything else. It is washable. You just have to air dry it. So that's the Ergo. This is the one I no longer have. So I found that I did not love this carrier. I felt like it just held my baby kind of weird in the crotch area. I didn't feel like it was super secure. I mean, I would wear her on, especially hiking. It's nicer to do the hiking one from like a breathability and a sturdiness back, all of that you can with the Solly and the Wildbird, but those are by no means like hiking carriers at all. And they don't advertise to be that, right? They're definitely not. You can do it, but it isn't the best. So that was the one we used for my first. So I would say mainly I used the Wildbird and the Ergo Omni 360, and my husband didn't love it. I didn't love it. We never wanted to use it because we just didn't feel like it was comfortable. I played around with the fit. I had people check. You can face them outward. I didn't love that either. It just felt really weird, and I have a really tall toddler. So I just found myself not going to it, right? And that's the thing. If you don't like a carrier, it's like if the Solly's just not right for you, you're gonna find yourself not going to it. And the thing that's super nice is these do hold their value, so you can resell them to another mom who may love them, and it may be the right fit for them. But the Ergo was not for us. I am super interested. I see a lot of moms today doing the Ergo Embrace, and I'm very interested in trying that one. So maybe I'd love to do another video with some of the other carriers out there. I'm like, the Wildbird Ariel is super interesting to me. The Ergo Embrace is super interesting. Of course, Happy Baby and Saka Bloom. I don't know if I say that right, but like those carriers are all super interesting to me. It's just, you know, you don't really need 20 carriers. You really just need like 1 or 2, but the Ergo Omni 360 was just not the carrier for us. So when I had my second, I knew I wanted a more structured carrier. She was getting older. And my friend had the Tula, and I was really resistant to it. She told me she loved it. She also had the Ergo and did not like it with her first, and so she sold it and got the Tula for her second. And so I was like very resistant. I wanted something that was pretty, and I didn't want to spend the price tag of the Happy and the Saka Bloom. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. And so I ended up getting the Lalabu, because the Lalabu was doing a 30% off sale, and I was seeing it on Ari and Lauren, the Bachelor couples, Instagrams and stuff a lot, and I was like, it's pretty, it's structured, like this is great, I'm gonna do this. So my third carrier I'll bring up, I bought this. So it was very affordable. I feel like it was like $40 or something. With the discount, I think normally it runs, $130. Okay, I don't know how much I paid for it. I will have to look, but it's $130 normal. They do sales all the time. You can use it from 4 months to 2 years old. So that's kind of interesting. I used it at 3 months with my baby, and I can see why. It's because of the width and their little legs. Like it just doesn't support them well. It is, so 13 pounds to 28 pounds is how you can use it. You can face the baby towards you in the front, or you can wear it on your back. It's machine washable. However, I will say I have the white one here, which you can see, it's really pretty, but the leather can kind of bleed into the white. So that's the one downside of this one. But it's really pretty. I'll show you. I'll put it on for you guys. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to put on. It's not as hard as the Solly, but it's not as easy as the Wildbird or the Tula, which I'm gonna get to in a minute, or even the Ergo, just because of how you kind of have to like put yourself under it. But I mean, it's a good carrier. Would I buy it again? No. Because you can't use it from birth, and it's not really great for an older toddler, and it doesn't offer enough benefit compared to the Wildbird and the Solly. This is the one, like, if I had regrets, it'd probably be this one. Is it a bad carrier? No. Is it right for some moms? Totally. If your baby is already 4 months old and you're looking for a baby carrier, this could be a great option for you. It's really pretty, it's soft, right? So it has that like nice, it has a cool hood, the nice feel towards your body is what I'm trying to say. So that's something that I will say. What I will say that I do really like about this carrier is it has a little pocket for storage in your diaper bag. So again, you kind of just grab, and you have like the sturdier straps, right? Which the Solly and the Wildbird don't have, and you just kind of tuck it in there. I'm not gonna obviously tuck it all in, but that is really a cool feature about it. I really like that. I do like the back carry. So the reason why I really like the back carry, so you would undo the rings. It has 2 rings on each side, and then it would be the front. It doesn't have that buckle across the top that is so prone to choking you. Like, you can get it right with your structured carriers to be able to wear your baby on the back, but it is a little bit tricky. This carrier, I would find myself, especially when my baby was like 6, 7 months old, when I was cooking in the kitchen and didn't want them in the front because, you know, stove and all those things, I would go for this one to wear my baby on the back because I didn't have to worry. It just like goes under your arms on both sides. The string, you could, not the string, but like the extra fabric you can use to tie around the front, but even that, it comes lower. And so that is a huge positive of this carrier for the back fold. So to wear it in the front, I obviously have a 6-month-old baby. So I'm not gonna do the like 4-month, let me just get it untwisted. So it has like a very, see, I can hardly read it, but it has a very like faint lettering, so you can't even see it there, that tells you where to put it. So it says this part towards you, and then you buckle it in the back. And then you can either, again, the jean jacket is just not the way to go for baby carrying, which is funny that that's what I chose to wear for this video. So you kind of can see, you have to make an X with the material. So your arms go in each side of this X, and then your head goes through the middle. So you can either put your baby on you first and then kind of hold them while you do it, but that is like very hard for me, at least. So what I like to do is I like to put this on first. See, like, isn't this just pretty? It's like a pretty carrier. So your baby will kind of sit in here, right? And their arms here. And then you see how you have the cross there. And then to tighten, you just pull on these. So I definitely liked this carrier. I've worn it a fair amount, but just with the other options out there, it's not my favorite. Okay, so then what I would do is I would just have it loose, take your baby, kind of tuck them in, right? You always put them on your shoulder, and then pull their legs through here. But as you can see with this doll, like, look at how wide that is, the fabric is. So that's why I think they say you can't wear a baby over 42 months, or over under 4 months. And then what you do is you just tighten here. And I would find in the early days, I needed my husband to tighten because it was so loose for my baby. I just didn't like it. And then the thing I really liked about it, so you can kind of pull these straps, and it's just pretty. Like, look at how pretty that is. But it has this little built-in hood. It doesn't stay up perfectly. That's like, you'll see that in a lot of the reviews, the complaints, but it has this little hood. Also, I will say you cannot, like, I could not use this hood now with my 13-month-old, and she is not a big baby. She's like smaller. She's probably the size of like a lot of 8-month-olds. So, I mean, if that's true, you really can't use it with 8 months. I mean, at least it doesn't cover that much. You can see with this baby, it has like an inch, but you can also kind of like tuck it back, right? So it's really pretty. It's a pretty carrier. I think that's what they have going for themselves. I like the back option. Okay, so we've gotten through 4 of the carriers, and I saved the best for last, because I think if you were to only get one carrier, this is the carrier I'd get. And I've tried a lot of carriers. So I think this carrier is great for mom, and it's great for dad. And I think that's one of the reasons of why I would recommend it if you were to only get one. It also is great for birth and great for your toddler. Like, I could put my 3-year-old in this and be fine. So that's a lot of versatility that you just don't have in the other carriers, as well as it giving you the most options to position your baby, obviously next to the Ergo, right? This would be in the same category as the Ergo. They're probably competitors, to be completely honest with you. And the Ergo retails for $180, and the Tula is $199. I think I paid like I don't know. Again, I feel like I paid $60 for it, but I don't think I did. I think I probably paid like $100. Again, watch their sales. But it's worth it. I mean, put it on your registry. If you're building a registry, it is gold. My husband loves it, and like, he'll wear our baby in this, like when we go to weddings, or especially since we have 2 kids, I'll be helping with our older daughter. He just loves this carrier too. It's super easy. It's nice. It's universal. It's great for flying. It's plastic. That's one thing I will say is on the Wildbird Ring Sling and the Lalabu, do not fly with them. If you have a sleeping baby, they will make you take your carrier off going through security, where they will not with the Solly and the Tula. So random tip there. Okay, so this is the one I love is the Tula Explore Coast, best all around urbanista, I think is I'll put it in the description. It retails at $199. I've seen it cheaper than that for sure. You might even be able to find an offer up. It's good for 7 to 45 pounds. And the reason why I like specifically, I think it's the urbanista is what the one, but it has a mesh lining, which I live in a very hot climate. I don't know if you can see that, but this part right here in your baby's back is mesh, which is so beautiful because, you know, the kids get sweaty when your baby wearing, because they're all up close and personal. It has a mesh hood that you can use kind of to shade your baby, and this hood definitely works because you can see it has like several different options for toddlers as well. You can face them outward, you can face them towards you. I don't know if this one can do the hip. I don't think it can, like the Ergo does, but to be honest with you, I would probably pick the Wildbird to wear on my hip before this, and then the back carry, which I use all the time. In fact, I just filmed a reel of me like mowing the lawn with my baby doing that. So I keep the hood on now at this stage, but in the early stage, there is a, I'll show you. There's this like panel here that you can wear it up if your baby's facing towards you and sleeping, then obviously down if they're facing out. So my friend she has a Tula, she has the linen one, so not the one with the mesh. And her baby has loved to face out since the moment he could. And so that's how she mainly uses the Tula. I actually have never faced my second daughter out, ever. She only knows facing in. I don't know, I mean, I could have, but it's like she's content facing in, so why am I gonna, if it ain't broken, why fix it? So for her son really wanted to see out, so it's worked really well for them. So it's just nice having that freedom. If I need more space, I'll put her on my back. So I'll show you both a forward and a backward. So there's this buckle here, and it has like snaps, so you can do the different, like obviously in the newborn stage, they'll be closer together, and a toddler stage. So right now I have mine set for a 1-year-old. So you take it here, buckle it back here, and then you put your baby in and you pull the straps forward, and then I usually can do it myself. That's probably the biggest learning curve on this, is like stretching so you can get the thing in the back. Again, just saying, jean jackets. Okay, but your baby can then be here. This is my daughter's favorite. Like, she just loves this. And so their little bums are here. I keep the hood on because it's really nice just to have it and then tuck them out. I actually have it set for the back carry right now, so I'll show you that in a minute. But you could also, the facing in is just changing those inner straps on the buckle, and then obviously you'd unbuckle this thing and it buckles down below. You can take the hood off, so the hood's really easy, it just snaps. So we'll take the hood off for a second, but really nice for naps or when you're like at the zoo. My baby's falling asleep on my back. You can see that photo on the Instagram. Right, so then you can have that and they just kind of snap here. And then you can see here, this is like for when they're facing towards you, and then you just unbutton for when they're facing away from you. I like to do it the other way, so I'm gonna put this back. And then when they're done, you just undo the little buckle here, or you can have a friend or your spouse do it. And then kind of just take your baby out, right? And then for your back, you can, like this is what I'm using a ton right now in this stage of my baby's life. Get that on my back, and then I just kind of slide her around, and then you can kind of pull this up and buckle them. And they're great, and they can just stay there. And you can adjust this. This is what I was talking about on the Lalabu, right? The Lalabu doesn't have this, and this, if you don't have it tightened right on these side panels, it can ride up, and that is just the worst. But this carrier is wonderful. It's easy to wash. It gives you lots of versatility. The one I went with is black because my husband does wear our kids as well as me. So it was just an easy one that would look good for both of us. But they have a lot of fun prints too. So if you want that as an option as well. But one carrier, this is what I go with. If I could only have 2 carriers, I would probably do this. I'm 50-50 on if I do the Wildbird or the Solly. I use the Solly way more with my second and the Wildbird way more with my first. Like, if you can have all 3, I do all 3. If you can't, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can choose. So they're all great carriers. They really are. And I hope this video was very helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And we'll see you on the next video.